Welcome back to No More RIP, No More Residing in Poverty. My name is Ray Williams, and the show is about building personal wealth and getting out of poverty. As usual, let's do some housekeeping to begin the show. First of all, look at the bottom of the screen. You'll see our website, our email address, our YouTube channel, and our Patreon channel. So, get all the information. Contact us. If you have any questions, comments, email me, and I will respond to those. Now, as I said, we do talk about personal wealth. If you're new to the show, make sure you subscribe, pass on this information to your friends and family, and anyone who needs to learn about building personal wealth. Because again, wealth is your health. Because the reason I say that, because a lot of people have bad health because of bad wealth. That means they're stressed out financially. And believe me, there are millions of people that are stressed out financially, living from payday to payday. And that's what my objective is to help people reduce their stress. Okay, let's do some housekeeping. First of all, remember, go to Amazon and purchase a copy of my book, Use Rules to Financial Success, How to Unlink the Poverty Chain. That's available in digital and hard copy. So please pick up a copy. Share the information, because that's what's important. In order for us to progress financially, particularly as black people, we need to learn how to get information and process that information, then pass that information on to other people, at least other people who have an interest. Because what I have discovered, a lot of people don't have an interest in finance. They have an interest in sports, they have an interest in entertainment, and all the other stuff, I call it. But when you're trying to talk finance, they don't want to talk finance, even though they need to be talking finance. So if you're one of those people, start talking about your finances, not your personal finances, but finances overall. Look at your personal situation and see what you need to do. And in most cases, most people need to become financially literate, because that's the problem, lack of financial literacy, particularly in the black community. And I always point out the statistics. Average black person net worth, $44,000. Average white net worth, $285,000. Average credit score, blacks, under 600. Average white, about 650 or higher. And if I want to go to Asians, average Asian credit score is about 735. So you look at the numbers, look at your personal numbers, and see where you are. Your debt ratio is another thing I always like to point out. Know your debt ratio, because your debt ratio basically tells you where you stand financially, whether you're overspending. Matter of fact, if you go to the email, and I'll send you a copy of a financial literacy test. It's a self-grading test that you can take and discover where you are when it comes to financial literacy. Believe me, it's worth it. And I will get into an example today on why not being financially literate can hurt you. It hurt a lot of people, even people that have money sometimes that's not financially literate, that's financially literate. They lose money because they don't understand certain transactions. They don't understand terminology. And the main thing they don't understand is that if you don't know, ask someone who do know. Don't assume that you know what you're doing if you don't know what you're doing. Simple as that. Okay. Also, remember to pick up the copy, 10 rules. Let me back up. Pick up a copy of 10 proven strategies on how to increase your credit scores. That is well worth the money. It's affordable. It's a digital copy, but you get a lot of valuable information. Information that can save you hundreds or thousands of dollars on credit repair, because credit repair has become such a big scam in the financial industry. It's hard to say who's who, but if you are educated, you will know how to avoid credit repair scams. And on that note, what I like to always mention, if you do sign up with a credit repair company, first do your research on the company. Don't take their word for it. Don't take their word for anything. Do your research. How long have they been in business? Are they licensed in your particular state? That's very important. And ask to see a copy of the contract before you sign the contract, because that's where they get a lot of people. People trust what they say, and they sign up, pay the money without ever reading the contract. And if you don't want to read the contract, hire someone, pay someone, small amount of money, $15, $20, $25, depends on the length of the contract, and have them to read the contract. But the main thing is to read the contract, because sometimes they have escape clauses in their contracts, and the wording is kind of, say, trickery. So meaning, like for example, I like to use, we will help improve your credit. And what that means is that if you have a 600 credit score, and over a period of, say, 60 days, your score go from 600 to 620, they improve your credit scores. So that's what you look for, the wording. Don't give them an open checkbook on your credit repair, because they can get out of it. And generally, their contracts are designed for them to get out of it without doing the work. And another important thing I just mentioned is make sure they are licensed and bonded in your state. And I actually spoke with someone about 3 weeks ago, him not knowing who I was, and I asked him, are you licensed and bonded? I never heard back from him. So know who you're dealing with. Okay, this show, what I'll talk about, and it's very important, is why the black community need more financial coaches. And I say particularly black financial coaches. Not being discriminatory, racist, it can't be racist, but being discriminatory, is because, from my point of view and experience, most black coaches who have been trained or have experience, they understand the issues of black people when it comes to personal finance. As a financial coach, I understand people not understanding insurance, not understanding real estate. I know how to break it down to them where they will understand it. And I'll give you an example. And I gave this example the last show, is that I had someone about a month ago, the father passed away. First of all, there was some bickering over the life insurance policy. But what happened, they discovered he only had an accidental death policy. And he's 92 years old. An accidental death policy. So that tells me he did not know what he had signed up for. He never let someone else know that he had insurance. Well, they knew he had insurance, but they did not know that he only had accidental death insurance. So that became a waste of money, because again, the accidental death only pays if you die in an accident. So know what you're signing up for. Get educated. Get someone to help you if you don't understand. I had another experience where this person was telling me that a relative had built 2 homes, and it cost him $150,000 each to build those homes, and he was renting those homes out for $2,000 per month. So she said he was making money. So I informed her, if he did not refinance those properties, he is not making money. So she did not understand what I was saying. She responded, he is making money. He's getting $2,000 per month for rent. So I tried to explain to her again, no, if he paid $150 out of his pocket and he's getting $2,000 per month, he will not make money, assuming he don't refinance. He will not make money until he break even on that $150,000, which at $2,000 per month will take about, say, maybe 10 to 12 years. So he's not actually making money. Now, if you do it the right way, he spent or pay $150,000, assuming, let's say, the value go up by, so let's just say in 2 years the property, or say even after completion, the property goes up to say 175,000. So now he have 25,000 equity. So then if he go back in and refinance that property at say maybe 90%, he gets his original money back. Then he might can rent the property out and make some money off the cash flow. But what I'm saying is that when you don't understand how it works, you can think you're making money. Just like, for example, I hear people say they got a 5% raise on their job and they say they're making more money. But I tell them, well, if you look at the rate of inflation, in reality, you're not making more money. Just say, let's round the numbers off. Let's say they got a 5% raise, but just say inflation is at 5%. So it balances out. You did not get a raise. You got enough to keep up with inflation. And so this goes back to understanding personal finance and how finance works. That's why a good financial coach will help you become better off financially. So in the black community, we need more black qualified, and I quote that, I always say qualified financial coaches, because there are a lot of people out there who call themselves financial coaches, but they do not have the experience and the knowledge to be a financial coach. But I have found from watching some of the YouTube is that they know enough just to make some consumers believe that they are experts. Matter of fact, I even challenged the coaches to take my financial literacy exam. It's not difficult. It's basically check the box type of thing. So it doesn't take a lot of time, but it gives you the end result. It gives you a score. It lets you know based on the score, this is where you stand. So know that it's important to know who you're dealing with, because a good financial coach can help you build personal wealth. Not a financial advisor. There's the difference. Financial advisor give financial advice. Financial coaches coach and mentor. Give example. Someone come to my company and they say, well, I'm struggling financially. I just can't make it ends meet. I'm not progressing financially. First thing I do is and do a financial assessment. I find out basically about 3 to 4 different things. What is your debt ratio? What is your net worth? What are your credit scores? Because those 3 items can tell me a lot, or like you do with the creditors. When you go to borrow money, that same information tells them a lot about the borrower. Because if they look at that borrower's debt ratio and they see that his debt ratio is 80%, it shows the lender that this person is spending too much of their money. They look at the credit score. They may say this person doesn't manage their credit well. They look at their net worth. They say, well, this person doesn't have, say, collateral. If they want collateral. So these are things that if we know these things, we can better become better financial consumers, and we can become better at making financial transactions. And which you hear me talk about this, going into a car dealership, you go in with power. When you go into a car dealership with power, say, that power is financial knowledge. Financial self-awareness. So when you go into that dealership, let's say, for example, you walk in, first of all, you know what you want. You have to know what you want. I used to be a car salesman for a short time, and what I discovered from that experience, a lot of people come in to buy a car and they don't know what they want. That's why they walk around the lot. They look at this car, they look at another car, they look at another car. That will show me they don't know what they want. So when you go to buy a car, before you go to the dealership, you should know what you want. Do you want a Chevrolet, do you want a Ford? What size vehicle do you want? Do you want a 2-door? Do you want a 4-door? What size? What make? What model? You do your research. So when you go in that dealership, you ask them, tell them what you are looking for. Don't let them walk you around the lot and they make your decision for you. Okay, now let's say you have the vehicle. Next step, financing. Before you go to the dealership, if possible, have your financing in place. Do not get your financing at the dealership. Now, some cases, it might be okay, but have your own source so you can compare the two financing. So, for example, you say you belong to a credit union, and you go to your credit union first, and you get approved, not pre-approved. You get approved for a certain amount. Now, that approval is based on the same thing, debt ratio, possibly credit. So, when you go in there and they say, okay, Mr. or Mrs. X, you are qualified for a $25,000 loan on an automobile. So now you have that qualification, you have been qualified. You take that, you go to the dealership, I've been qualified for $25,000. That dealership know that your credit union or bank, whoever, has already approved you for up to $25,000 purchase. So if you go in and you find an automobile for $22,000, that means if you want, you walk out the door with that automobile with no down payment because they approved you for $25,000. Now, another thing what that does, that takes the dealer out of the picture on financing, because the dealer wants you to finance that vehicle with them because they make money off the financing. They make money off warranties, which I always recommend people not buy extended warranties, and I get into that some other time. But so when you go in there with that approval, you got them against the wall. So you go in, let's just say the car, you find an automobile and it's selling for $24,000, and you already have an approval for $22,000, and they know this. So what can you do? You can use that as bargaining power. You can tell them, hey, I'll give you $22,000 for it instead of $24,000. And if they don't budge, what do? You go somewhere else to let them know that you're going somewhere else. So remember, know what you're doing when it comes to finances. Find you a financial coach. Go on the internet, but make sure you check out your financial coach. Remember, subscribe to the channel. Send us an email if you have any questions or comments. Pass the information on to your friends and family. But become financially literate, and you will build personal wealth. And you can shorten the period it takes to build personal wealth. Again, the show is No More RIP, no more residing in poverty. My name is Ray Williams. Look forward to the next episode. Thank you for watching.